Hey, are you looking to upgrade your key life areas and evolve to a higher level of existence? To practically harness personal growth and spirituality in a crazy, busy, imperfect world? Then you've come to the right place. My name is Prash, and this is Urban Spirituality, the show which uniquely fuses ancient wisdom with contemporary self-growth and spiritual disciplines to deliver value-adding tools, traits, and insights to help you unleash your fullest potential. We always keep it real, featuring authentic, unfiltered dialogue with guests from diverse backgrounds to inspire, entertain, and enlighten all who listen. So get ready for your dose of urban spirituality. Be present and let's dive in.
Outside a boxing gym, just about to go into a boxing class, teaching boxing class. But I thought,
well, you're outside a boxing.
Real.
Exactly. We talk about winning, boxing and winning, and tips to win the week. So we're not just winning inside the ring, but for all of us, how can we win inside our lives, inside our job, our house, our home life, our health? And there's a gazillion tips we could do, but we just wanted to spend 10, 15 minutes and give a little bit of value. And I know, Alex, you've been dying to share a few.
Well, listen, as an athlete, we always want to it's about winning. It's not always about winning, but ultimately, if you're in a contest, you want to win. You want to put on a good performance, and we want to win in life. So, as an athlete, I want to win as a CEO of a big, powerful company. As a mother, I want to be a winning mum. As a dad, in whatever facet, as a teacher, in whatever, I want to win at relaxing. Going to the gym and having a workout. Right, so what do I do every single day? Every night, I have a board meeting with the most important people in my life. Me. I have a board meeting, and what do? I have to, like, you spoke to so-and-so today, you could have probably handled that a bit better. Listen, just today, for instance, and I tell you what keeps my second tip, and I'm assuming everybody already has their goals. You always have I'm taking that as an assumption. We all know where we want to be. We want to be somewhere else. We want to do this. We want to do that.
And we'll do another goal. And you know, I know, Alex, you've been keen on it. So we'll do another goal setting thing. And we're going to cover some of this anyway on our retreat on the 27th to 29th of March.
Yes.
So goal setting will turn up. But yeah, let's assume for this.
So assume you got your goals. So I have snapshots. Many people have done dream boards, and you have images. Maybe a red Ferrari is what you really want. So you put a red Ferrari on your fridge, so you see it. Well, I've got all these snapshots of all of my goals in my head, and I have that continually. That's tip number 2. I'm going to go back to tip number 1.
Please.
Tip number 1 is having a board meeting with yourself every night, and I'm like, right, today I could have got in. I was talking to myself. I had a double-decker bus driver on Harley Street get very leery, very aggressive, and I ended up getting out of the car. He beeped at me, and I could have got for the snapshot in my head of where I want to be and what I want to do overrid my instant aggression and testosterone. And the guy was being an arsehole. No two ways about it. But I can escalate this. I can choose to be have a punch up. I was never going to have a punch up. But I decided to de-escalate it. I said, look, buddy, come on. You're being out of order here. And that was the best way to, and I did it in a manner, in a tone, which was better. And it de-escalated. Now, you could be in the boardroom. You could be at work, and you've got people who piss you off. And how are you going to respond to them? Sometimes there's no getting out of it. You have confrontation. But if you've got that image of where you really want to be, that snapshot, it helps you. And so in my board meeting tonight with myself, I'm going to go, okay, I'm going to thank myself. I've had some other sadness today, some very sad things. And it was a day of conflict, but my goals from my snapshots, they helped me get to where I want to be and have a better day. So have snapshots and have a board meeting every day. And in the board meeting, I'll just finish off. In the board meeting, I set my intentions for the next day.
You know what?
Which is something you're going to talk about.
Yeah, it just nicely follows on to what I was about to say. This, perfect. So, folks, hopefully you got that. And by the way, what I love about your tip about having a board meeting with ourselves is we're so used to hanging out as social creatures. Many of us, at least, are used to hanging out with our partners, our loved ones, our significant others, our children, or with the one-eyed guru, aka the television. And we're catching up. And so what we're doing is that's what we're going to bed with. And what you're saying is, wait a second, let's break that trend a little bit, and let's have the last thing at night be the board meeting with ourselves. And it doesn't have to be some crazy sit-down table thing. It could be on your bed, while you're sitting on your bed, or as you're lying down in your bed, you're having a few minutes mini board meeting with yourself. So I love about that. And that's where my tip comes in as well. Just following on from having that board meeting, I want to just give this quick analogy. Imagine if I gave you a empty jar and I said, by the end of this week, I want you to fill that jar with as much as possible, as much stuff as possible. Now imagine that you started to fill that jar with sand. Now, if you continue to fill that jar during a 5-day period with sand, at the end of the week, it's just going to be filled with sand. However, if you take the same jar and instead of filling it with sand, there's another way to fill that jar quicker. It's with rocks or pebbles, large rocks or stones. You can just fill that jar with rocks or stones, and then you pour in the sand and it will fill through the gaps and fill inside. My friends, and I say this to coaching clients all the time because I come from a corporate background, that sand is like our tiny little activities or tasks or firefighting stuff that we get caught up in pretty much every single day. It's the tiny things. It's the so-called tiny things. It's the not tiny things, but we make them occupy our whole day. It's the things that aren't going to make a major impact in our life, but we get somehow caught up in them and they just fill up our time and energy. And that's like the sand. What happens is when we allow our days and our weeks to be caught up with the sand, with the small stuff, right? All those chores, all those little things, all those things that aren't that important, all the distractions from our friends and family to go here, eat that, meet this person, have dinner with. If we allow ourselves, our lives to be filled with only the sand, I'm not saying sand is bad or sand is not necessary. It is. We still got to do our practical small tasks. But if we only allow ourselves to be filled with sand, we're not going to really achieve much by the end of the week. So what I want to propose is to fill our lives with rocks. And rocks in our language, in productivity language, are known as MITs, most important tasks. So think of 3 MITs, most important tasks, 3 rocks, large rocks that you need to do that will help you to move the needle in your industry, in your career, in your home life, something that you really know that you've got to get done by the end of the week, right? It's going to be manageable. It's going to be doable within a week. Pick 3 of those MITs, those big, and start to fill your jar, as in your 24-hour lives, with a rock. So over a period of a week, you manage to accomplish 3 significant things that are going to help you bring you in income or solve a problem that you got or deal with something that's significant. And then the rest of your hours around that can be filled with the sand, the small stuff. We fit it around that. Instead of making the sand our focus, we make the big rocks, the MITs, 3 MITs in the week or 4, no more than that, because the mind just dilutes its attention. 3 or 4 big MITs to be accomplished by the end of 7 days. And that's what you could do in the board meeting right the night before, as Alex says.
1,000,000%. I was just about to say that.
Set your MITs for the week and just start track. And what a perfect synergy. Every night, track where you're going with those MITs. How many rocks have you filled in your jar? 1, 2, 3. And if something's coming in the way, we'll talk about this another time in more detail. We look at obstacle management. What's holding us back from filling those jars with the rocks? We move that stuff out of the way and we fill the rocks. That's tip number 1. And tip number 2 is every day, here's one thing. We're going to use biology to help us have a better week and win that week. And that biology is in the form of a hormone called dopamine, a chemical called dopamine. And Alex, obviously, you're the expert here. You can talk about it all day, but
flow states,
right. Dopamine is.
I'll talk about that in a minute.
Dopamine is associated with flow states. It's associated with creativity, and one great way. There are many ways to increase the flow of dopamine to the brain through the neurotransmitters, but one of the ways is gratitude. So what I want to invite everyone to do, and you've heard it many a time, but I want to have it as a thing that you do in your daily lives. Deliberate gratitude is think of 3 things in 3 areas of your life that you're grateful for each day, and just focus on them while you're on the underground going into town for your commute, or wherever you travel on the public transport, or in your car, or if you're a mom at home, you're picking up your kids, somewhere during that travel time, think of 3 things that you're grateful for. 1, in the family, in the family area. 2, in your career or your business. And it doesn't have to be that you've made a bunch of money. It's not about the money. It's about some colleague who you helped out, some goal that you achieved at work. It could be one of your 3 MITs, the rocks, something that you're grateful for that you've achieved or have achieved in the past or are achieving. And number 3, in the area of your personal self, your personal progression in life, your self-development. If you manage to, as Alex did, calm yourself down and you manage to not kick off with somebody at work, that's a gratitude. Celebrate.
Yeah.
3 areas. Give gratitude every day. Something in your
I didn't know what you were going to say tonight, Prash, but it's absolutely synergistic. The board meeting, by having, where did I go? What did I do wrong today? Oh, could have handled that better. All right, I'm going to. But you know, you did that not too bad. So you're giving yourself. We give other people great advice. I'm sure you do somewhere. Hang on, why? And you don't know. You can't sometimes see the wood for the trees. So try and take yourself out of yourself and imagine you're talking to yourself to ask yourself a question. Right. What would you do in that situation? That's a very
totally.
And
you can
the
do
next
that
day
sometimes as well.
I'm going to talk a little bit about flow. I want to be in the flow the whole time. It's one of the most ecstatic states. So for me to get in the flow, I like to. Gratitude is great. Building on success, it releases some. Prash just said dopamine, serotonin. There's many other chemicals which are much more powerful than cocaine, heroin. We produce naturally, so they're very addictive. So guess what? When you produce these naturally, you're in the flow state. Life, the universe starts providing for you. So that's built on by having rocks in your life and not sand. And that's why when I have that board meeting at night, right, okay, I've wasted time. How many times have we all got up in the morning and we've looked at emails and YouTube and Facebook and Twitter, and all of a sudden it's lunchtime? Oh my God. And you just
filled our jar. We filled that jar with sand. All we've done is just fill it with a bunch of sand instead of our MITs, the big rocks, the things we need to achieve in the week, right?
And we justify it. I do. I'm guilty. Well, I really do need to look at social media, but I'm not getting my shit done. When you get your shit done, you feel good about yourself. You have integrity. I've done a couple of tasks on my to-do list, and I've still got 20 left to do. And I'm like, I could have been a bit more productive. All right, in my board meeting, well, look, you did 2 tasks. All right, don't kill yourself. Let's build on that tomorrow. And I'm going to get up. I'm going to get into the flow. I'm going to talk very quickly about one other thing. Is move every day. I didn't moving. Sometimes you don't have time to go to the gym. I'd be like Mr. Miyagi. He will get Daniel-san to clean the sand on the. I will go and clean a room in my house. That's my exercise.
That is so practical, right?
Yeah. So you're moving. Just as long as you're moving, it's something manual, and that way you feel like you're accomplishing a goal. I walk the dog. I simple manual tasks. There's going to be lots of things around your house that need to be done. You've put off. If you use that as an opportunity to get your exercise in at the same time as you feel like you're building on. I've got all these tasks, to-do lists on my to-do list. I've got to do this, got to do that, got to sort the garage out. I've got to paint this. I've got to put that box in the loft. And you put them off. Just knock a few of them off. It starts making you feel so much better. It releases dopamine, serotonin, puts you in the flow. And although that you could be considered grains of sand, that I would say they're more between pebbles, because you've got rocks, you've got sand, and you've got pebbles. You're manipulating the situation. You're getting the best of both, and that's all, folks.
Genius advice from Alex. Alex, that's so great. So the gist of this, folks, is start your Sunday night, end your Sunday night, end your weekend with a board meeting with yourself. Set your 3 MITs for the week, your most important tasks. Make those your big rocks that you want to accomplish. All the other stuff, that's the sand and the pebbles that you need to accomplish during the week, that's fine. Factor for that. You don't take the rocks and occupy the whole week. Start that clock on Sunday night. get ahead of everybody else so you can really win the week. During the week, track it with your nightly board meetings. Keep track of those MITs. Add in the gratitude every day, 3 gratitude items in each of those 3 areas: your career, your relationships, your career, your personal situation, and your relationships. And thirdly, move a little bit. And I'll leave you with a tip.
There's a fourth one. All of this, what saved me today was that a snapshot of what I really want. People have dream boards. I've got a dream board right here. And that's where my board meeting comes in. I have a little bit of visualization. And something called meditation. We're going to be doing a little bit of this on our retreats, the 27th to the 29th in Harlow, Essex. That's those snapshots of where you really want to be. They stop you from doing silly things.
Yeah, because they come out, right? You know they're going to come out. And what I loved about what you said at the beginning is you allowed the vision of where you want to be and who you want to be to override the emotions that were coming up. So it's building what we call in coaching terms, what we call is emotional self-awareness. In EQ, they call it emotional self-awareness, self-regulation. And you're becoming self-regulated with your emotions. You're not allowing your emotions to take over.
I just want to finish on that for a little second. It doesn't mean it's not always easy, guys. I was bobbling, and I'm like, and then I really wanted to pop him on the nose, and I thought that's silly.
Yeah.
That's not right. I would never have done that. I mean, I would only be in self-defense, but I mean, still, you can think that. And then I started, that was really silly of me, and I actually started to feel compassion for him. I thought he was being very rude. I could get him to lose his job. For how he's been, he's representing he was beeping me and causing nearly an accident. And I actually felt compassion for someone who's rude to me. And I felt, look, Rome wasn't built in a day. You're not always going to get it right. But the fact is, that screenshot, that snapshot, that dream board in my mind stopped me from doing something silly.
Absolutely love that. Thank you, Alex. 4 tips to win the week.
Hey folks, thanks so much for listening. I really hope you enjoyed this episode, and as with all our episodes, found something to inform, inspire, and empower you in your personal and spiritual journeys in life. As always, feel free to leave a little love through your ratings and comments, subscribe, and share it with those you care about. And take your personal and spiritual evolution to the next level by joining us on one of our unique events, workshops, or retreats, or taking advantage of our personal and professional coaching packages. Find out more about us at mantratherapy.co.uk. I'm your host, Prash K. This is Urban Spirituality, and we will catch you on the next episode.